and welcome to Madeleine at the Movies, the Golden Days film review segment, designed to make you feel a little more informed when it comes to choosing what to watch next. I'm Madeleine Swain. The current fears about the future of the cinema industry revolve around a number of issues: the prevalence of streaming channels, the rise of AI-produced content, and particularly the idea that only big-budget action-adventure or superhero films, low-budget horrors, or children's animations have any chance of making money at the box office today. And it's that last one that's given rise to a specific fear that the number of medium-budget adult dramas being released into our cinemas is dwindling at an alarming rate. So any new film that fits into that category is to be welcomed, I think. And that includes The Drama, a new film starring Robert Pattinson and Zendaya that is being marketed as more of a outrageous black comedy than a serious drama. And now, don't get me wrong, it certainly has those what on earth moments, but at its heart, there is something much more interesting going on. It was written and directed by the Norwegian-born, LA-based filmmaker Kristoffer Borgli, who has made a whole lot of shorts, but also a handful of features, including 2023's Dream Scenario, in which Nicolas Cage played a character who kept turning up in other people's dreams. And one of his shorts had the inspired title, Former Cult Member Hears Music for the First Time. And that's exactly what it's about, with a huge dollop of satire about the movie-making business into the bargain. You can watch it on YouTube. It's only 11 minutes long. And I think it's clear that he's a filmmaker with some very original ideas and the skills to explore them. In some ways, The Drama reminded me of Nicole Holofcener's 2023 drama, You Hurt My Feelings. In that film, a long-time married couple see their marriage rocked when Beth, an author, overhears what her husband really thinks of her new book. In The Drama, it's the week before Charlie and Emma's wedding, and the happy couple are at a food choosing event with their two best friends, Rachel and Mike. A few too many drinks later, and a silly game of confessions suddenly unearths something unexpected. The film then becomes about how all four of these characters and other peripherals who get drawn into the drama, how they react to this. And yes, it does get out of hand. People behave outrageously, blood is spilled, and characters say the wrong thing to the wrong people at the wrong time. But there is also a lot of truth to the way the events transpire. You're about to marry the love of your life, and you discover something about them that could be an absolute deal breaker, a game changer, or at the very least, make you look at them in a whole different way. Do you call off the nuptials? Do you try and understand? Do you take it as a learning opportunity that reminds you the honeymoon period really is over before the actual one begins, curiously enough? And you now have to look at your other half as a whole complex person with hidden corners and perhaps some unpalatable truths about who they are, or at least who they may have been in the past. That alone is food for thought and reason enough to make The Drama worthy of a watch, I think. The performances are all fine. The two leads have plenty of charisma and chemistry too, while Alana Haim is a standout as the best friend Rachel, who is one of those people who is quick to judge, shows her every feeling on her face and interactions, and is utterly holier than thou. We all know those people. And the character is pretty obnoxious, but Haim really nails her. Primarily a musician, she's in a Grammy-nominated band called Haim with her sisters Estee and Danielle. So she's not an actor who gets a massive amount of screen work, but she has a memorable face, and you may well recognise her from her lead role in Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza, and she also appeared in his film One Battle After Another. The Drama is rated MA, runs for 105 minutes, and is screening in general release now. Now, The Drama is being promoted as a black comedy, which I think is a little misleading, as I said, but there's a new Australian film currently screening in very selected cinemas that's unambiguously a comedy. It's actually showing as part of the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, but with any luck, it will get a bit of a run outside of the festival because it's a very modest creation, was made for next to nothing, and will only survive through word of mouth. Now, full disclosure, I know a couple of people involved in the film, but that aside, I think it's an achievement that deserves to find an audience. Written and directed by Mick Connolly, the film is called Hands Up Who'd Like a Hug. It was literally made for $40,000, and the whole thing was shot on an iPhone. There is a sensibility to the film that for me feels very much like a Tropfest entry made into a full-length feature. And by that I mean it's a certain kind of Aussie humour that uses larger-than-life and hence not entirely believable characters to explore an idea. And here the truths are about male friendship and vulnerability. The premise is that the apparently neurodiverse Thomas has 3 goals in life that need to be achieved in order: 1, become rich enough via his work to retire in his 20s. 2, find friends. And 3, then find a life partner. But of course, life is messy and not as easily compartmentalised as that, especially when he takes pity on a homeless man and invites him into his home. How that pans out, and Thomas's attempts at friendship with another couple of young men, make for the bulk of the film. I should note that if I hadn't told you it was shot on an iPhone, you probably wouldn't have realised. It certainly doesn't look in the least bit second-rate, and the characters are all engaging despite leaning into caricature at times. Veteran actor Dom Bridges is a stalwart of the local acting scene and does a fabulous job as the homeless man Deacon. And Stephanie J. Wilson is also memorable as perhaps the most non-larger-than-life character, Laurie. There are still sporadic screenings taking place at the Nova in Carlton, but it probably won't be around for long. So if you want to support local talents and play Spot the Inkerman Pub, I think it is, while you're at it, that's the place to go. It's rated M and runs for 89 minutes. And before I go, in case you haven't heard about this already on Golden Days, I'd like to mention a very special one-off screening of the silent version, the 1929 version of Alfred Hitchcock's Blackmail, with a live theatre organ accompaniment courtesy of David Bailey at the Compton Theatre Organ. It will be presented by Melbourne Theatre Organ and take place at the Malvern Town Hall next Sunday, the 19th of April at 2 p.m. You can find tickets on Try Booking, and oh yes, I'll be doing a short introduction to the film on the day. And that's all from me for this time. Madeleine at the Movies was produced and edited by Blair Purvis. Stay safe and well, and thanks for listening.